So, going to the project proposal, as I told you, the primary purpose of a project proposal is to convince others that you have a worthwhile. Worthwhile means a very good proposal with you, and it is really good to, and you have the competence. That's the second thing. Competence means expertise. Unless you have, like, for example, you want to build a house, whom you will be calling, you will look for a person, for an engineer who has a previous experience or who has built so many other houses earlier. That is his previous experience. Just like that, when we are submitting a proposal, the expert will audit there will be checking your competence. Competence will mean whether your qualification and your experience in that area, so that you will be able to conduct this project successfully. That is the meaning of the word competence. And you have a work plan. Usually, all project proposals are 2 years, sometimes 3 years. Most of them 3 are in the ideal period. So, what you will be doing in this 3 year period? So, what are the things you will be going to do in the first year, and what you will be doing in the second year, and what you will be doing in the third year? And that plan is known as a work plan. So, when we are submitting a project proposal, we have to also submit along with that a work plan or schedule of activities or time schedule. Then what you plan to accomplish? Accomplish means achieve. What are the objectives that you are going to achieve or find out? That is the main aim of the project, and what you want to do it, and how you are going to do it. That's the second thing. So you have an idea, you want to do something, and second aspect is how you are going to do it. How means what are the methods that you are going to adopt for finding out that result objective. That is the meaning of how you are going to. What are your methods, or what is your methodology? So that aspect is the how you are going to do it. And quality of your research proposal depends not only on the quality of the proposed project, but on the quality of your proposal writing. That is another important. For example, for example, sometimes you want to go abroad after degree. For example, you want to go to Canada, or you want to go to UK, or you want to go to Australia, New Zealand, or whatever country. But they have two types of masters. One is a taught master, otherwise called as a coursework, PG coursework. Another type of PG they have research masters. Research masters means it is like doing a PhD. The teachers will not teach you anything, and for the you will have 2 years. In that 2 year period, you will have to conduct a research project, and after conducting the research project, just like a PhD thesis, you will have to submit a research thesis. And once the research thesis is evaluated, you will be awarded a PhD. And that kind of PhD is known as a research masters. In India, research masters are not very common, but now Myanmar is also thinking of starting research masters in here. Now, one problem is generally Indian students won't apply for research masters. The reason is that you have not gone through that process of doing project or research work properly. So, in order to apply for a research masters, they will ask you to submit a project proposal. That is, for in Canada also, in Australia also, the research masters are there. It's a 2 year period, and sometimes it is far better than other types of masters also, because one advantage of research masters is that you have not got the stay back period. For example, if you are doing a normal thought master or coursework master, they will give you 2 years stay back. But if you are doing a research masters, you will get 3 years stay back. And so that is one advantage. And the expense of the research master is comparatively slightly lesser than that of a normal top master. So these are some advantages. But generally, Indian students won't apply. The problem is that they don't know how to apply, how to submit a project proposal, or how to conduct a project. So these are the problems. So if we know how to write the project proposal, then we will not face any problem. So these are some of the things. So the quality of your research proposal. So it is not just like, even if you ask a PhD student please submit a project proposal on such a topic. Most of them won't know how to submit a project proposal. Even a degree student don't know. So that is the case with the majority of the students. So learning how to write a project proposal is a skill. Even among college teachers, majority of the college teachers do not know how to write a good project proposal. That is why many of them are not able to get such a proposal, such a funding. So learning how to write a project proposal, even if you are very good in that area, if you don't know how to write, how to convince others, how to write properly, even your English language is very important when you are writing a project proposal. So that is why quality of the writing, that is an important aspect. Then, what are the things we have to keep in mind while we are submitting a project proposal? Usually, the first paragraph, the first part of your project is title. You know what is the meaning of the title? Title is the first part of the sentence. It should be concise and descriptive. Concise means very short, not to elaborate. Title should it should be limited to one sentence, not more than one sentence. You cannot have a very long, lengthy title. So title should be very short or very succinct. And at the same time, it should be descriptive. For example, diversity of birds in Irving National Park. So that is the title of your book. So the idea is very clear. What is the diversity of birds in Irving National Park? So very clear. So the idea is, for example, what you are going to do, you are going to conduct a study of diversity of birds. Then where you are conducting, it is on the Irregular National Park. So this is how you have to make a title. It should be short at the same time. It should reveal the main idea of your project. That is the main descriptive. Often titles are stated in terms of functional relationship because such titles clearly indicate the independent and dependent variable. For example, in biology, that kind of titles are rare, but in chemistry and physics, it shows some kind of relationship between them. For example, effect of flooding on the diversity of insects in the sentence. So there is a relationship. The effect of flooding. What is the effect of flooding on the diversity of ground insects? So there is a relationship. How the flooding has destroyed or damaged the insect diversity in the sentence. So that kind of relationship has to be shown. Then, however, if possible, think of the informative but catchy title. The title should be very catchy. That means because most of the time when we are submitting a project proposal, it goes to a person who's usually a very expert in that field, who has already conducted several project work in that area. So by simply looking at the title itself, he or she will be able to know what this work is about. So then maybe there something they may be getting hundreds of project proposals, and out of them they are only allowed to fund one or two project proposals. So what they will do, they will just go through the titles of for abstract model proposal. Only if they are interested in the title, they are going to read the remaining. That is why title should be very catchy. Catchy means it strikes immediate attention of the expert. That is the meaning of the word catchy title. So these are some of the important things that you have to keep in mind while preparing a title. See, here there is a functional relationship. Effect of water pollution on the residents of Berkeley. That's a place in Leyden or something. It's a relationship. This shows a relationship. Effect of water pollution on the residents of Berkeley. It shows a relationship. So you have to prepare title like that. Then second paragraph is abstract. Abstract is another important area because usually an expert will be reading only two paragraphs in your proposal. First is the title of your proposal. Second is the abstract or summary. If he or she is convinced that this summary or abstract is very good, then normally they will proceed to read the remaining pages or remaining paragraph. If they feel that abstract is not good, it is poorly written or it is not conveying the ideas properly, they are not going to read. Maybe the proposal may be 10 pages or 20 pages inside. But the first page should the title and abstract. If in the first page the expert is not impressed about your project, he or she is not going to read the remaining 90 pages, they will simply skip. So that is what happened. So it is what is an abstract? The brief summary of approximately 300 words. So it says some abstract means a very difficult part to write. Because in 300, for example, when we are submitting a proposal, the proposal itself usually contains 10 pages to 20 pages. So you have to summarize this 20 page proposal into 300 pages. 300 words means normally half page of a day. So within that half page, you have to show everything. What is the objective of your work? What is the importance of your work? And what are the methodologies that you are going to work? And what you are going to achieve? And what is the significance of your work? All these you have to clearly explain in the summary part or in the abstract part. So that is the another important. So it should clearly include research question, the rationale, why you are doing this study. That is the rationale. There are a lot of other types of work, but why you are doing this work? That is a rationale. Hypothesis, what you are going to achieve. Method and main findings. Method and main, what is the methodology? And what will be your expected findings? So these are some of the area, some of the things that you should mention in the abstract. And third aspect is that the description of the method may include design, procedure, sample, and any instrument that will. For example, the second paragraph here shows that second point clearly shows what are the items should be present in the summary. So when we are talking about methodology, you have to only clearly explain what equipment, what instruments you will be using. Then only, for example, you are using a normal microscope, or for example, or a highly sophisticated microscope, maybe costing lakhs of rupees. So such a for example, in my lab there is a microscope, it costs 18 lakhs, and there is another same type of microscope in our lab that costs only 50,000. But the quality of both microscopes are different. So what is the type of microscope you are going to use? So these are the things that you have to clearly mention when you are submitting the proposal. Then there is the abstract part. Then comes the introduction. What is the introduction? You are going to introduce the topic. You are going to do some work. You want a funding for that, and how much amount of funding. So for that you are introducing your idea. That is the introduction. It provides the necessary background of your research problem, why you are doing this work. It set the seed and put the research. What is the significance? Why you are doing this research right now? For example, if you are submitting a project proposal about COVID vaccination to Government of India, like the Department of Science or Technology or Department of Biotechnology, there is a high chance that they will be funded. They will give you funding for that. But if you are right now, if you are giving not so relevant topic, they may not fund it. So what is the relevance? What is that is it? To create interest in the reader about the topic and proposal. So that is the main aspect of introduction. Introduction is a paragraph that introduces the subject to the reader. Why you are going to do this? That you are introducing. It should convey to the reader what you want to do. What are the things that you are going to do? Why you are going to do? Why you are thinking of doing this work? Then what necessitates the study and your passion for the topic. There is another thing. Why this study is very important. And another aspect of your passion. For example, you want to study in the diabetes students. You can explain that for I have been working in the diabetes field for the last 10 years or 20 years. And I have gone to different areas in Kerala. I have already identified several species of bird. So by telling such a paragraph, the expert will feel that this person has been in this field for a very long time and he has enough expertise or experience for carrying out this work. That is a passion. That passion also you have to express clearly, because unless the expert feel that this person is not very serious about this work. For example, every research project will be lakhs of rupees. For example, in a science research project, even if you get 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs, it's nothing. It's a very silly amount actually, because when it comes to doing the research, then all the equipment will be very costly, highly expensive. Chemicals are all expensive. So without enough funding, it is impossible to carry out a research. So it is a government money, it is people's money, and nobody should waste it with that money. So government, those agencies are very particular. So it is not easy to get a research funding. Then try to place your research question in the context of either a current hot area or an older area that remains viable. For example, now the COVID vaccination, that is a hot area. Or you can talk about the destruction of species in Western Ghats. That's a hot area. So it should be an area that should be highly significant. Then only so when we are submitting a proposal, we have to submit it in an area which is a hot area. By hot area means scientifically important area. Or it can be an old area and that still remains viable. Even if you, for example, you are going to do about some evolutionary aspect. And for example, the evolutionary relationship with some family with another or a family. But then they have to convince the expert that even though this is an older topic, there are few areas which are interesting, which are modern in this area. That is that you have to show that it is a viable area. Viable means workable area or a significant area. It's a meaning of the word viable. Provide brief but appropriate historical backdrop. That is, in the introduction itself, we have to clearly mention who are the persons who have previously done a similar kind of work and what are their achievements. So this also you have to mention. Provide contemporary context in which your proposed research question occupies the central stage. What is the significance of that work? Your work in the present way. That aspect you have to mention. So that is the contemporary. Contemporary means present day. What is the present day significance? That is the meaning of the contemporary. Then identify the key players and refer to the relevant and representative publication. Key players means when, for example, you are going to submit a proposal on the birds or on butterflies. Then several people who had also previously worked in the butterfly diversity in Kerala, and you have to clearly mention the names of those people. They are the key players. So they have contributed a lot of work, a lot of information in this area, but there are certain gaps still available. And I am thinking of working on one of the gaps. That way you have to express your idea. So who are the key players? So that is the key players means important people who have made some important contributions. Then literature review. Earlier we have seen what is a literature review. Literature review means you are simply going to the historical backdrop in which what are the previous work which has been conducted in that area. So what is the significance of literature review is that you are not reinventing the wheel. For example, already some people have discovered 20 or 100 species of birds from individual national park. And several people have already conducted similar work. When you are again proposing a similar kind of work, then the expert will feel that there is no chance that you are going to find out anything new. So that is a reinventing the field. Reinventing, you are going to rediscover something which has been already discovered. That is a waste of time. Not only waste of time, waste of money, and waste of the resources also. So such kind of work are usually not be funded. Gives credit to those who have laid the groundwork for your research. That is the importance of your literature review. You are able to do this work because of several other people who have conducted similar types of work. For example, in the case of the Watson, they have discovered what is called DNA helix. They were able to discover DNA lyrics because of several other workers who have carried out X-ray studies on the DNA. It was based on the X-ray studies of several other people. Watson and Crick were possible to rediscover discover the spiral headings of DNA. So without the contribution of previous scientists, we won't be able to do. So that is the mean. Demonstrate your understanding of theoretical and research issue. So when we are writing the literature review, it's a difficult thing. Unless you know every publication in that area, you will not be able to write that research review properly. So that shows your knowledge indicates your ability to integrate and synthesis existing literature from by carefully going through the present literature. You know what are the things which has been already discovered in that topic and what are the areas which has to be discovered. So you will be able to relate known knowledge with unknown knowledge. What is known, you already know. So these are the areas which are known to the science, but there are several things which are still not known. So you have to relate the both. Provides new theoretical insights or develop a new model as a conceptual framework for your research. So based on the present knowledge, you will be able to present several new ideas. That aspect is mentioned here. Convince your reader that your proposed research will make a significant and substantial contribution to the literature. That is, for example, when the literature review usually will be a one paragraph, maximum half page. Within that half page, you have to summarize the entire research work in that area. So, while going through the literature review, the expert should feel that you have gone through all the previous work in that area. You have read all the previous literature. Then that gives you an impression that this person has been very serious, he has carefully prepared the proposal. Then comes the aims and objectives. That is another area. What gives a broad indication of what researcher wishes to achieve in the research and hypothesis to be tested. In most of the research, for example, if you are going to chemistry or physics, there will be a hypothesis. But in all biological work, we cannot find a hypothesis always. So hypothesis is not always present. In some kind of, for example, in the case of our humanities topics also, we can find a hypothesis. Then research design. Research design is methodology. To convince the reader that overall research design and methods of analysis which correctly address the research problem. For example, when you are writing a research design or methodology, what is the purpose of that research design? To convince, to make sure, to make others convinced that your methods that you are suggesting is good for the discovery of this finding. So that is the meaning, that is the purpose of that. Methodology sources uses are appropriate to the specific topic. For example, you want to study the DNA or the phylogeny, but you have not you are suggesting a lot of idea, but you are not going to study the gene phylogeny or molecular phylogeny. Then you don't have the equipment for that. Then the proposal may be rejected. They will feel that if we want to give them so much amount of money, they still want to. For example, you want to study the DNA molecular phylogeny of a species, then for that you need maybe more than 50 lakhs of rupees are needed. But the maximum they will be giving you only 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs. So when you are submitting such a work, usually it will be rejected. Because the equipment that you, even if you are purchasing some equipment, you won't be able to do that work. Because the cost of the molecular biology lab usually goes to about 50 lakhs or more than that. So with 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs, it is impossible to carry out. So this is the aspect that you have. It is appropriate for that. It should unmistakably tie to the specific aims. For example, you are submitting 4 aims, 4 objectives. How you are going to achieve the objective number 1? What is your method for achieving objective number 2? Like that, you have to clearly mention how you are going to achieve each objective. So that is the aspect here. In this section, method and sources used to conduct the research must be clearly displayed. What are the methods or what are or that you are going to mention use for your research should be clearly mentioned. Then there is an area called budget. Any work, there will any developmental work, there will be work. Even if you are if you want to purchase a car or purchase an automobile or build a house, you should need a budget. Just like that, you are going to do a scientific work. There should be a budget, and when a researcher prepares a research budget, he should predict that and cost. He should predict and cost all the aspects of research. For example, different types of areas will be coming. For example, any research work normally will be conducted by some research fellows, and they will have, we have to give them a salary. The percentage their salary of the research fellow is around 35,000. Here in your lab, there are fellows, they don't get 35,000 per month. So you convert 35,000 into 12. How 1 year it means you have to give around 4.25 lakhs. So 3 year for a 3 year project means around 13 lakhs you have to give them a salary. So if you are getting only 20 lakhs, what is remaining? Only 7 lakhs is remaining. So you cannot do great things with that 20 lakhs. So that is so. These are the three areas that you have to clearly mention. So the budget will give you some idea of what are your what you can do. For example, the proposed funding agency may sometimes grant you only 30 lakhs. That is the limit most of the time. This research body. So some research agency will give more than 50 lakhs or up to 1 crore. But most of the time there will be limitation of 30 lakhs. So I told you that about 13 lakhs will be going to the salary. Then 70 lakhs will be only available for purchase of equipment. Then without purchasing some equipment, you won't be able to. Then you have to protect some field work should be there. For that also very expensive. Then you have to buy chemicals. Then you have to buy many glassware. So all these items should be clearly mentioned in the budget. And last aspect is the bibliography. Bibliography means include list of references to key articles and text discussed within. For example, you have mentioned different websites or in your in your literature you have mentioned some 10 papers you have mentioned, and each the reference of each paper should be mentioned at the last section or reference or bibliography. So the expert can easily check. For example, you may be right in the period for 1930. Then what is the work done by the period to 1930? That should be mentioned at the last part of your project. That is the bibliography. Then, so a list of reference to the key articles and text discussed within your research proposal. A selection of sources appropriate to the proposed research. And what are the important areas from where you have taken the information for preparing this proposal? So, because in a research, one thing is very important. You cannot simply copy somebody else's information. If you have taken any information from another source, you have to clearly show that this information has been supplied to me, or I have taken it from this source. So, for example, nowadays, if I ask you to prepare a project proposal on the birds or butterflies or fishes or mammals, you go through the internet and take and prepare it. But unless you are going to clearly mention from where you have taken each line, then you will be in trouble, because if I am using a plagiarism software, I can easily find out that you have taken this paragraph, this line from this website or this book. So that is possible. That's why whenever we are showing preparing a research proposal, we have to clearly mention the source of information. So these are the important parts which are coming under the research proposal, and budget is also an important area. The significance of the budget is that in the budget section, usually, as I told you, the salary is one important for them. travel, how much amount you have to spend for field work. Then another important area that is usually coming is the chemicals. And chemicals we call it as consumables. Consumable because chemicals are all used because when we are using they will be finished. So that's the consumables. Then another head will be usually contingency. For example, you want to buy a paper, you want a paper for printing, or you want to buy for a computer. There will be some small equipment, small expenses like will be coming. So that's those kind of small office stationery items you can include in the contingency. So these are the normal headings which are usually coming under the budget. And when we are preparing a budget, for example, right now because of COVID-19, my project was actually in 2019, and after that COVID-19 comes, and the project has to be finished by 2022 December. What happened to me? I lost around 1 year. Then what reason I have to so this kind of unexpected or unpredictable disasters have to be taken into account while we are preparing a proposal. So that is and because when the time is extended, that will be increasing the cost of the work. So this kind of problems will have to be carefully thought about while you are preparing a budget. So budget is also because preparing the budget itself needs a lot of expertise. So most of the time, without the by help of other senior scientists, we cannot prepare a budget properly. So these are the headings which are usually presented in the research proposal. Once again, I will show you the. So there should be a title should be there. There should be abstract. Introduction should be there. Then literature review should be there. Then an aims and objectives should be there. Research design and method. Budget are there. Bibliography there. And usually one more paragraph is also coming. Significance of the work. There is also a paragraph which are usually incorporated in most of the significance of the work. Why you are doing this work? What is the importance of this work? Why we should fund you for this project? That aspect. For example, in every research, what society is objective? When you are doing a research work, what is the return to the what you are giving to the society? Society is paying you money, and what you are giving back to the society. That is one important point. That is one important part which is very difficult to work. For example, when you are working in a specialized area, most of the time mentioning you are mentioning the benefits of your work to the society is not easy. But unless the experts are convinced that this work is useful to the society, they will not give you the work. So these are the important areas in any research projects.